much planning. Yes, definitely. There is a point where a term I like for it is called indecision prison, where you're trying to decide something and you're always like, I'm gonna do, let's plan some more, let's plan some more, let's plan some more, and you never ever do it. At some point, you just have to do it. You just have to go, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I might fail, but I'm gonna learn from it and do better. That's something like for me, starting Twitch, for example. I wanted to start Twitch for a few years before I actually started it. And I would always like start planning, okay, I want to do these streams, I want to have this format, how can I do it? I need camera gear, I need a microphone, I need lights, I need this, I need that. And I'm planning and planning and planning, and there's never a point where I'm going to be ready. Even now, my setup is not complete the way I want it to be. There's things I want to improve on it, things I want to improve on the streams. But if I waited until everything was just right, I never would have started, because I'm still not done. And there's a point where you just have to go, okay, I've done enough, I've covered my bases, let's dive in, and we'll figure it out as we go. As long as you have a good understanding of what you want and your end goal is, you might not know all the specifics. That's usually good enough. Ideally, if you can have more, yay, but try to think of it that way. So if you're looking at your shot and it's like, I want a 2-character dialogue shot. Great, jump in. Well, who's the characters? What's the point of the shot? Is it a happy shot, a sad shot, a scary shot? What are you trying to learn from it? What is your goal with this? If you can't answer that, you're not ready. If you can answer all of those, okay. Are you ready to animate? Well, maybe. Do you know what the character's backstory is? Who are they? What were they doing beforehand? Those could be good points. So you kind of build in. And at some point, there's going to be a section where you go, okay, you're going to be left with questions like, well, how do they hold their pencil? This way, or this way, or this way, or this way? It's like, maybe it's a character drawing. Do you really need to answer that? You could just shoot reference and hold a pencil. At some point, you're going to start reaching questions that are just not worth answering, that you can't just answer as you go. So as long as you can answer the high level questions, that would, if one thing if you change that answer, everything radically changes, then you're good. I hope that makes sense. And there's no like, yeah, follow that rule, you're always going to be good. It changes based on the shot and what the goal of the shot is. If it's a full film, you want to know and really lock down the story before you get too far. And even then, like, you look at films, they change stories all the time halfway through. But if you're just doing a quick little test, yeah, you don't need to figure out every life detail of your character before you jump in and aim for your goal. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're stressed out about your shot and you need to take a break and walk away and not feel bad, do something that's still going to learn. That you're like, for me, one of the biggest things that I had a problem with is that when I would take a break from animating, when I would take a break from my shot and I gotta just take a walk, let's go, I would start feeling bad that I'm not working anymore, I'm not animating, I'm not doing my assignment or my project. So do something that'll help you, whether it'll inspire you or whether you'll learn from it. So a few things that I like to do is sit down and watch a cartoon. Ideally something in the style that I'm trying to achieve, or like that's similar to what I want to create. That way I can be inspired and I can watch and go, okay, how are they doing it? What are they doing that I'm missing? What can I put from that performance into my own? Do master studies. Take a clip, scrub through it, learn from them. Okay, what are they doing? How are they doing their spacing? How much time, like, again, pick something in the style that you're trying to achieve and look at, okay, for this one action, how many frames does it take? Most often, especially if you're starting out, you'll notice that they tend to take a lot less frames that you're using. You might be doing an action and it takes 12 to 16 frames, like a wave like this. And then you look at a shot from a cartoon and they do the same thing in 3 or 4 frames, maybe even 2 frames. And they push the hold instead. So instead of this slow motion, you have a character bring up their hand, hold, and then hold again. So it's fast and then hold. So you study these things. Okay, I'm struggling with facial poses. Let's look at some facial poses. Study those. Compare them. So even though you're taking a break from your shot and you're trying to re-inspire yourself, you're also learning. And then when you get back to your shot, you can look at it and go, okay, what am I not doing? What did I just see in the shots before that is missing in mine? It's hard. It really is. But I find it kind of strikes a good balance between learning and like taking a break. You can also do gesture drawing or other things like that. But for me, I do like the master studies. What do I do? So if your body mechanics are suffering, if your body mechanics are not where you would like them to be, there's a few different things you can do. The first one is make sure your fundamentals are good. Body mechanics all rely on the fundamentals of animation. If the fundamentals of animation are not working, so if you don't know your timing and spacing, if you don't know how to do overlap, if you don't know how to do overshoots and squash and stretch, and you don't understand timing and spacing, if you're not sure how to make a good bouncing ball, your body mechanics are never going to look great. Body mechanics all rely on the fundamentals. It all builds up on another. So the first thing I would recommend is go back. Try to do these very basic assignments. Do a ball bounce. Do a pendulum assignment where you just have a pendulum swing to a stop. Move it through. If you can do it, just a simple walk cycle. Do an overlap assignment where you have a character with hair and you're just animating them and you try to animate the hair. All sorts of just little quick tests just to get the fundamentals in there. Animate what else would be a good animation to do? A ball just going through an obstacle course. If you can get those fundamentals looking good, it'll improve your body mechanics. That's huge. People underestimate how much the fundamentals are important to their animations and how much it's going to make it so that your animations really look good. If you understand the bouncing ball, it really makes a big difference. So that's number one. After that, the next thing would be going through and just doing quick tests. So, well, actually, before that, figure out what it is about your body mechanics that don't work. This is going to be tough, but it's really a lot of analysis. Is it that your weight feels too light? The characters just feel like they're floating around. Is it the characters just constantly move and just like they never stop? Is it that the poses don't look interesting? You find out all of these things. It could be multiple things. You write down a list. And then you practice each one, but specifically and with short little tests. So if your posing isn't great, then really push your posing. And yes, that website is great, Sammy Boy. Thank you so much for posting that. So check that site out for resources on all sorts of different topics. But if you're struggling on posing, do some posing tests. Just focus on posing. Make super appealing posing. If you're struggling with timing of a shot, like everything just feels like it just moves very evenly, do some quick tests where you just do a quick little animation, but you're just focusing on getting the timing of a motion feeling interesting. So you take these and you focus down on that one little thing and just do a quick test, something you can do in a few hours. And then you move on. Do more tests, more tests, more tests. Don't just do one and then go, oh, well, I'm done. I did my test. Let's go back. No, you do many versions until you understand it. From there, then you go back. So hopefully that helps. The big thing is really trying to be active in understanding where you're struggling. This applies to anything. If you're drawing, if you're animating, sculpting, whatever. If you're not sure what you're struggling with, just that it doesn't look good, okay, you can eventually get better. But if you can figure out, okay, why doesn't it look good? Let's compare. Let's analyze. Let's study this. Oh, my proportions are off if it's drawing. Oh, I'm not good at drawing hands. Well, don't just sit down and do a whole other art, like a full painting. No, just sit down and draw hands and understand how to draw hands. So, yeah, it's being very specific.